After Pearl Harbor, the Army rounded up all Americans of Japanese descent. These children, Nisei, Japanese Americans born in America and taught American values, and their parents were herded into relocation camps. Official government films tried to justify the action.
They gathered in their own churches and schools, and the Japanese themselves cheerfully handled the enormous paperwork involved in the migration. The Army provided fleets of vans to transport household belongings and buses to move the people to assembly centers. The evacuees cooperated wholeheartedly. The many loyal among them felt that this was a sacrifice they could make in behalf of America's war effort. Santa Anita Racetrack, for example, suddenly became a community of about 17,000 persons. The Army provided housing and plenty of healthful, nourishing food for all.
It was not only racial animosity, but also worries about West Coast security, which took these people far from their homes, all tragically unnecessary.
Naturally, the newcomers looked about with some curiosity. They were in a new area, on land that was raw, untamed, but full of opportunity. Here they would build schools, educate their children, reclaim the desert. Special emphasis was put on the health and care of these American children of Japanese descent.
Eventually, the Army invited the Nisei men to train as GIs, but they had to fight for the right to go to war. The 442nd Regimental Combat Team won a role in liberating Europe and proved that Nisei blood ran as red, white, and blue as any Americans. Finally, they became a fighting legend.
Late in October, on the Vosges front in the west, there took place one of the heroic episodes of the war. A battalion of the 36th Texas Division had been cut off and lay trapped up forward in the hills without communications and surrounded by superior enemy forces. It was the 442nd Infantry Division that was ordered to cut a way through to them. This was the famous and unique battalion composed of Americans of Japanese ancestry, volunteers all. They were fighting as they had fought in Italy to prove their loyalty to their American homeland, to prove again that democracy embraces all creeds, all races. For 9 days, while the Texans hung on grimly up ahead, they cut their way forward in bitter cold and in some of the toughest fighting country on the Western Front. And on the 10th day, they broke their way through. The lost battalion of this Second World War had been relieved. Tired men, tired to exhaustion, but unbeaten. And what of the troops who got through to them? The 442nd. They came out too when it was over, carrying their wounded. These too are the kinds of men about whom fine words are sometimes used. These too are Americans, and they've proved it with the full measure of their loyalty.
At war's end, General Mark Clark honored the 442nd, which had earned over 3,000 Purple Hearts, 800 Bronze Stars, and the Congressional Medal of Honor, more than any other unit of its size.
All of you Americans of Japanese descent have a right to be proud, for you have reached the high standards of American fighting men. You are always willing to close with the enemy. He has no bluff on you, and you've always defeated him. And let me tell you again, the 34th Division is proud of you, the 5th Army is proud of you, America is proud of you.
Returning from 3 years of war service in Italy and France, the 442nd Combat Team receives a rousing welcome at New York. The veteran unit is made up of Japanese Americans, many from Hawaii. The hard-fighting combat team battled heroically through such tough assignments as Anzio and Cassino and is returning minus 1 battalion. Its bulldog determination is expressed in its slogan, "Go for broke," meaning shoot the works. This was the hard-hitting outfit that rescued the famous Lost Battalion when it was cut off by the enemy in southern France. They accomplished the rescue with bare bayonets and suffered many casualties. During frontline fighting, 650 lost their lives and over 4,000 were wounded. Now they're home for a hero's welcome, and a justly deserved one.
Never in its history had the United States government assumed such powers over free expression and mass communication. War has a way of restricting individual constitutional rights. Yet there were very few public complaints. There was a war on, and we all believed, reporters, editors, movie makers, that it was in the national interest to withhold certain facts and to bend the truth at times. In the post-war years, some of our wartime propaganda about our allies as well as about our enemies came back to haunt us. Some was downright dishonest, some was simply racist. And when novels like Norman Mailer's The Naked and the Dead appeared years later, they were truly shocking to many readers because the American public had been sheltered from the real horror of battle.